Welcome back, everybody. It's Sunday, and now we're starting on our Holley Hyperspark ignition system upgrade. So, just to recap, we had all kinds of issues with this car that couldn't figure out what it was till I did some very basic troubleshooting. And long story short, we had a bad coil. It was an MSD SS coil. We bought a replacement one to get us by until we got everything for the Holley Hyperspark ignition system upgrade. So let me tell you what we've got. So just to recap real quick, we have the Holley Sniper EFI, and we also have the Holley Hyperspark distributor controlling our timing. So now the last upgrade to that whole system, and it all works together, is the Holley Hyperspark ignition system upgrade. And basically what's going to happen is this is going to take the place of our MSD box. It's a 6AL2 we have on there now. I'll show you. And then this will take the place, and they're made by MSD, I'm sure, but this is a little bit stronger coil. This will take place of our MSD, I guess they call it super stock, I can't remember, coil. So come here, let me show you the light. But this is going to give us a chance to clean up a lot of wiring that we've been doing on this car. So we're going to get rid of the MSD 6AL2 box, and we're going to get rid of the MSD Blaster SS coil. All that's going to be mounted. You notice that the Hyperspark is smaller than this, and that also makes for a nice addition. To just clean things up. You see all the wires and everything. Again, this goes back to when I set the car up, was doing the best I could, but I wanted to drive it so fast, I expedited and did things that really can be improved upon. So we're going to get started with this, and I'll show you what part numbers we have. Now, am I expecting a performance enhancement? I don't know. I don't know that it's really going to make any difference as far as how it runs. Now it's running well now that we fixed the coil. The 6AL box has been working. It has been on there, let's see, probably since 2012, like I said in some earlier videos. So it's probably 12 years old. So, you know, those boxes get blamed a lot, like carburetors get blamed a lot. So I'm not changing it out just for the fact I don't like the MSD 6AL2. It's a great box. And it'll probably be going to a good friend of mine pretty soon. I think he knows who he is. But that and the coil. But it just kind of is going to clean things up. It's more plug and play, and everything works in harmony. I'm a big believer in trying to keep everything matched as much as possible. Now, MSD is under the Holley family of products, and so it's not that MSD doesn't play nice with the Holley stuff. It's just, one thing, it's 12 years old. This car gets driven now where it needs to be reliable. So why not go ahead and fix that before something could go bad? You know, if the box went out today on it, I really could not complain and bitch about it, because look how long it's been on there. It hasn't failed since. It's been blamed on some things, including me, and I take that as being a, you know, not an expert and learning as I go. But anyway, we're going to bring y'all along and show you how we're going to do this and the part numbers that we got. So here's what we have. We have the wiring harness right here. This creates part of the big plug and play. Now I'm going to read the directions on all of this, but this part number is a 271R1276A. And then our coil, see if it has a part number. It is a 556-152. It's for our coil. As you can see, it's got a plug right here. Cleans things up. And then this is our, basically the Hyperspark 2 that's going to be taking the place of this MSD 6AL. And it is a part number 556-154. Now let me also say, this is not a Mopar specific project. This can have, you can have this system on your Chevelle, your Ford, any of them. So this is more fuel ignition system related. Has nothing to do with brand. So I hope that somebody can get something out of this. I'm hoping I get something out of it, by the way. I'm hoping it turns out everything else that we've installed has turned out great. And we're kind of go over a recap of all the improvements we've made to the car just within the last month. And being winter, these are great winter projects to make upgrades to your ride. So let's get this thing started. Okay, so progress. So this is what we have removed methodically from the car. So we've got all this right here that we've removed from the sniper harness that plugs into our Hyperspark and the rest of the sniper. So the only thing I had to cut basically were 2 wires. I had to cut my wire that I've got going back to my fuel pump that was connected to this relay over here from the original sniper. So we're gonna cut this and we're gonna get to our weather pack fitting. I'll get to that in a moment. The other wire was my gray wire, and these are the other 2 components that we've removed from the car. This is the MSD 6AL2 and the MSD SS blaster coil. My gray wire, that's my tack signal, set the tack signal, was on here somewhere here. So I've got to, the only thing I can't figure out at the moment is where to get my tack signal. I'm pretty sure it's going to be from the negative side of this coil, but I'm not going to do that until I speak to Holley tomorrow. So far, I'm pretty happy. It looks like it's cleaning a lot of stuff up under that engine bay. So now what we're about to do is we're going to mount our Holley Sniper box that's going to take the place of our 6AL. You can kind of see the size difference there, right? So we're going to mount this, and then we're also going to mount our new Sniper coil that's going to take the place of this. So most likely these things working fine. My good buddy Just Mopar Joe's probably, if he wants first dibs at them, then when we go pick up our Barracuda, it'll probably go into one of his race cars, so, or into his inventory. So the other thing I want to talk about is connectors. So I've gotten into, again, I'm an amateur. I used butt connectors and all the cheap stuff before, and they worked. You know, they work fine. And sometimes you still have to use those, but I started getting into using my weather packs and especially Deutsch connectors. Now these Deutsch connectors, they're really, really, really nice. I have several other kits in the engine room for these, but it's nice to make things where you can start just connect and disconnect. Unfortunately, we don't have a 1-wire Deutsch connector, but we do have 1-wire weather pack. And then it's always nice to have your connector crimpers. So these are some MSDs, and they have different jaws. You see, you can change the jaws out. This is another set of crimpers I have that are basic, but these are a little bit better. And then I've got this crimp set that we bought where you've got all the things, you can unpin things, and these I use mostly for my Deutsch connectors. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get this thing set up for the connector for the fuel pump, and we're also going to mount our sniper box and our coil. All right, folks, welcome back. So this is the finale for our Holley Hyperspark Sniper EFI ignition upgrade. Just recapping really quick, we installed our Holley Hyperspark 2 box. That took the place of our MSD 6AL2. And we installed our Hyperspark coil, which took the place of our Blaster 2 or Blaster MSD coil. And this right here, this is the wiring harness that cleaned all that stuff up I'm about to show you in the engine bay in just a moment. So basically what this system did, again, we're able to remove all this mess here, and what should have been done when I first installed this thing years ago, removed all the unnecessary outputs from the 10-pin connector on your Sniper EFI. So now that you see everything we've removed, and also when you use this harness, you don't have to use the harness that comes with the Sniper Hyperspark box or the coil, which is right here. It makes it just so clean. So come over and check it out. Now, this, I can tell you, although it does look busy for a stock, if you were to have a stock charger, didn't have all fuel injection and everything, and this type of ignition system, it is night and day difference. And of course, we purchased our wire sheathing from Summit. These are the part numbers. You got all the different parts from Summit for the wire wrap. You know, you've got your inch, and you've got your quarter 20, or your, quarter, about 20 inches, I guess. All different diameters. I'm gonna tell you what I think. There is a price difference. If you look at this brand here, it's kind of got a nicer, more natural look to it. This is F6 woven self-wrapping sleeving from TechFlex. I like the TechFlex better than this right here. I've just kind of noticed. I never really paid a whole lot of attention, but this has a more natural factory looking color. This is kind of it still looks good. It looks a lot better than the crappy conduit, plastic conduit I had on it before, but I think I prefer this. But, like I said, spoke to Holley, like I said in the previous part of this video, I needed to know which wires we needed to use out of the 10-pin connector, and it was only one. Only one we needed to use was the brown wire coming from the 10-pin. As you can see, like I said, removed all these wires from the 10-pin connector. These are all your outputs. So these would be for your electric fans, 1 and 2, AC kick, like you turn your AC compressor on. I may end up I've got the schematic for this. It's really easy to do, and I'm going to show you the tools I use to unpin it. So whatever outputs you need, it's in that 10-pin connector. But let me share something with you really quick. When I was at Holley getting, I think, my stage 1 training for EFI, Tom, the engineer there at Holley, emphasized, he said, you guys with your snipers, and it might have been Terminators too, he said, freaking unpin all of your outputs that you're not using. It is imperative. And I didn't think it was important. I just wrapped these things up. I was ready to go boogie, right? I never had any issues that I know of anyway, but what he said was when you leave all these wires in there and you're not using these outputs on that 10-pin connector, this can pick up RFI, and this can create all kinds of issues if you don't unpin these. So for instance, like our friend Glenn that we completed on the Pontiac, he has a Sniper EFI, a quadrajet system. And I'm going to share with Glenn, whatever outputs he doesn't use, he needs to unpin it from the 10-pin connector. So I just did that before we completed the installation. So that went well. I only needed one wire. And 10-pin connector is right here, and it's just a dark brown wire right there. There's only one wire coming out of this 10-pin connector now. So that cleaned it all up. And the pink wire went to my switched source. This is a switched connector that all my 12 volt switched goes to right there. So simple. Got it all ran, cleaned everything up. Now when you turn this thing on, you turn the key on, that light's going to turn yellow. And then once it fires up, it's going to turn green. So let me demonstrate. Just as smooth as it could be. And I gotta say something else. that alternator upgrade we did, this engine turns over faster because it's been charging this battery now at low RPM right off the bat. So just thought I'd say that on that upgrade we did previously to this upgrade. So I guess in short, let me show you the tools that we use to do this. Now, before in my hot rodding career, being very, very, very amateur, still a little amateur, but hey, it is what it is. I used to use butt connectors and just do what I needed to do. Didn't care about the wiring, how it looked, how it functioned. Well, that was a big mistake, and that's kind of start separating the, you know, the amateurs from more professionals. Not to say that I'm Mr. Professional, but these are the tools we use. This is my wire stripper. I've got what brand? I think this is a Cornwell, but this works really well for stripping your wires back. This is a snap-on. I know I buy snap-ons when I need them, but these wire cutters right here, they've been awesome. They work really well when you need to crimp something like something small. Now, there are certain butt connectors or the nicer connectors that you'll see that are, say, that Holley even uses with this right here, these type of connectors here. I use these right here for those. It's got for your different gauge wires. It works well with those. Now, this is where we get into, we start using the weather packs and even some of the Deutsch connectors. I have all the different jaws for this set of MSD pliers. These work outstanding. Love these pliers. These work really great. Now, what I started doing on a lot of my installs, instead of just hurrying up and butt connecting everything, I like to use connectors now. And this car's, all the things that we started going back and refining, we went back with connectors. So, for instance, the blue wire that goes all the way back to my fuel pump, it has a weather pack. And a lot of you guys already know this. This is, you're saying, Darren, it's known about that millions of years. So, yeah, but this is one of my weather pack kits. And I do like weather pack connectors. They're just kind of big, but they work really well. You know, the factory used them. I know the Grand National's got weather pack connectors all over it, and they held up well. Now, this is something I kind of went to. I started preferring the Deutsch connectors, and I've got about two more sets in the engine room with these Deutsch connectors. These Deutsch connectors, you got to kind of study them, and there's a lot of videos on YouTube on how to set these connectors up, but this is my choice. This is probably my favorite connector. So I said, you know what, if I'm going to spend the money, now they are more expensive than weather packs, but they just seem to be easier to, they seem to be a little bit more robust, I guess I'll say. Now, let me show you another tool that we purchased last year. And I got it on Amazon, believe it or not. It's called iCrimp. And this tool here, this set of tools, it has depinning tools. All these tools here. I use this one to depin my 10-pin connector. It has a little hook on the end of it here. I use that right there, and it helped me unhook those little tangs in the 10-pin connector, and it came right on out. But you can see it's all got all different sizes to depin your Deutsch connectors. So if you look over here, here's all your different pliers and your barrel crimpers. So all the different gauges, and then you've got these crimpers here for your different gauge of wires. Man, I have to say this was a really good buy. So again, you guys, you know, if you're going to take the time to use nice weather packs or your nice Deutsch connectors, you really need to spend the money on some nice tools, crimping tools. So that is pretty much what we've got going on, how this ended. I'm very happy. I haven't driven the car yet, but it's extremely cold outside. The car does not have heat or AC yet. So that's the next big upgrade. I think the finale upgrade for this car is we're going to be putting the heat and AC on. And before we put the heat and AC on, it looks like I'm going to follow my advice from my good friend Just Mopar Joe. I think he suggested Classic, and and I think they're out of Texas. And they seem to have a kit. That's probably what we're going to put on that car. But before we put that kit on, there was a big oil leak. Not a big one, but enough that it shouldn't be leaking at all. We're going to have to remove the valley pan. That's a whole nother video. But another surprise that came in is right behind Trish right here, we've got our good friend Barry from up in Missouri. He has a 65 or 66 Mustang Fastback that we put a full American Auto Wire wiring harness on that car about 2 years ago, I think. And he's doing his car exactly how it should be done. He's doing kind of like how Glenn's doing his Pontiac. He's setting it up where he can grow into things. So this is the Holley Sniper 2 that's in that box. This is his Holley EFI fuel tank for that Mustang. And I'm really excited about using the Sniper 2. I'm jealous because I think I'm going to want a Sniper 2 eventually put on that Charger. But it has a lot more programming and interface in with transmissions. That car is also going to get TKX 5-speed, just like we have in that car right there. It's going to be coming up. So really excited. What's good about this is why I want to bring this up in this video about Barry's Sniper. He's going to be able to grow into a Hyperspark distributor if he wants to. He's going to be able to grow into the Holley Hyperspark EFI and the harness to really clean things up and to really just kind of up the performance of that car. Just the right way to do things. I'm really excited. What I'm excited about with this car and my goal with this car is not to be the fastest thing on the planet. It's already plenty fast for me. Well over 600 horsepower, probably 650 in torque. I mean, it's blows the tires off. And while that's fun, I'm getting older and I like to be able to see my gauges. I like to be able to see my headlights. I like for it to start. I like for it not to leave me on the side of the road and just to be reliable. So I don't really want to go out and buy a new Charger or Challenger. I've already had a Hellcat and an SRT. They were great. But I like my old cars. The same way with our Barracuda that's at Just Mopar Joe's. It's got a Gen 3 going into it. It's more about, for me, making these things reliable and going on those road trips like we did earlier this year. This car performed flawlessly at the Route 66 tour up in Bristow, Oklahoma. Our friend Glenn with his Pontiac, he's doing the same thing with his Le Mans on that. He's gonna be picking that up anytime, no rush. He lives way down in South Texas near Houston. So, but Glenn's got the same type of car. It's a resto mod, and he wants it to be reliable, take the family out. Barry wants his son eventually and his wife to be able to drive it. I'm sure his son's probably going to inherit his Mustang. He wants him to be able to go out there and turn the key and fire it up and not have to pump the gas and pour gas down the carburetor because it sat for 2 weeks and now the fuel pump's going out, blah, blah, blah. So these are things that to me are what make this hobby fun, where when I get home from a business trip or been gone and I want to come out here and go take my car for a drive up here in the hills. And I'm sure that Glenn and Perry are going to be doing the same thing. So again, I hope you guys got something out of these upgrades, everything so far. We did our Dakota Digital HDX upgrade with the gauges. Man, I love the alternator upgrade. I mean, again, you hear me emphasize it's finally charging and maintaining the charge with the fans on at idle. And then finally, our Hyperspark EFI system. It seems to be a really great system. I'm looking forward to driving it again. It's a little too cold out there at the moment, and we got a lot of things going on. So I'll report out. I'm going to take it on a cruise. The weather's really nice. There's still some snow, and the roads are kind of nasty, and I just don't want to get it all filthy. So that's it. You guys leave comments. Hey, you can critique me. I like getting critiqued. I'm going to try to improve the content of this channel, not just talking about it. You guys have Trish film me actually doing the things. I get into doing what I'm doing, and then I put the camera aside because I'm so in tune to what I'm doing. But If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. I'm trying to grow the channel, like I said, and it's growing I can't believe we're at 627. So please like, share, and subscribe. And I hope everybody has a great weekend. Thanks, everybody.